Hello, hello, hello! Hey, what's happening, everyone? My name is Ken Lamug, and I am here to talk about my latest book, Ghastly Ghosts, and some character design ideas and process that I went through for this particular book. If you don't know who I am, I create picture books and graphic novels, as well as picture books for adults. Just to show you a brief introduction, some of my books include Hurts Like a Mother. This is a picture book that is illustrated kind of like Edward Gorey's Ghastly Crumb Tinies. It's a book that talks about the perils of parenting. Really funny book. A is for asteroids, Z is for zombies. This is a post-apocalyptic alphabet book that illustrates different scenarios of the end of the world for each letter. Again, really funny, dark, maybe not for kids. The Stumps of Flat Top Hill. This was one of my earlier books, and it's a book about a little girl who goes into a haunted house. So again, this is a really cool book, but maybe not for the little ones, but still enjoyable. If you have a little kid who's maybe likes scary stories, this might be worth a look. Enough about all those cool books that I just mentioned. Today, we're gonna talk about an even cooler book, Ghastly Ghosts. This book is written by Teresa Bateman and illustrated by yours truly, and it's about old Dave who inherits a house from his uncle. Isn't that awesome? He gets a new house. But actually, when he moves into the new house, he realizes that something weird is going on there. He starts hearing all these moaning sounds and noises, and soon enough, he has to gather all his strength and figure out where and what is making all those sounds. So we're going to talk about some of the ideas and character designs that I've created for this book. But first, we've got a question from a fan. Let's read it. Dear Ken, I've been a long-time fan and just love your stuff. That's with a capital L-O-V-E. You're just so awesome, and my dream is to be like you. How long have you been creating art? What school did you go to? Your biggest fan. Wow, look at this username. Ken's Fan 1049. Isn't that crazy? Okay, that's kind of weird actually. To answer your question, Ken's Fan, I am a graduate of the Look See Do School of Arts. Not martial arts, just arts. I did not go to art school. Warning to everyone here, I am not contemporarily, modernly, classically, traditionally trained in the School of Arts. I am a self-taught artist, and everything that I've learned and figured out, I've just learned just by watching other artists work, looking at books, reading, studying, all that kind of stuff. If you are someone who wants to get into arts, publishing, there's nothing stopping you. You can do it. I did draw when I was a kid. I created comic books from scraps of photocopy paper that was left over, folded them, stapled them, created my own comics that way. Although I really wasn't into comic books and picture books as a kid, it was really more as an adult is when I started getting into comic books and picture books. So throughout my adult life, I did not create anything that was published. My creative outlets were filmmaking and photography primarily. And about 8 years ago, I got back into illustrating and writing. I kind of had to relearn the ropes, especially everything has been digital now. So I had to learn how to draw in pen and paper and slowly transition into digital on the computer. That's my primary tool, is just the computer, and it actually works out and saves a lot of time, especially when you're working on big production or big projects. It's easy to make changes. Throughout that time, I've been able to get books published and, meet a lot of people in the industry and make a lot of friends. So Ken's Fan, I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions, just post it down on the message or you can contact me. In fact, I'm going to give you some links to check out. I am also known as rabbleboy. That's kind of my moniker online. So you can check me out at rabbleboy.com. Check me out at instagram.com/rabbleboy, twitter.com/rabbleboy, and facebook.com/ you guessed it, rabbleboy. So you can reach me out at all those channels. let's go ahead and switch to the screen. Okay, we're live on the screen, and as you can see here, we're going to talk about children's picture book character design for Ghastly Ghosts. And this is probably going to be the first of a few videos, I'm hoping. And when I first received this project, the publishers were interested in some of my line work, specifically the ones that I've shown you, as well as my book, Petro and the Flea King. Here's the book, and it's actually a wordless graphic novel. And the story is based off of a Filipino folktale about a little boy who goes into town to replace his grandmother's cooking pot, and he ends up finding out that the town was infested by fleas. So I kind of rehashed the story and added my own flavor into it and made it into a whole new adventure of its own. So you should check this out. This is also available online, and it's just a wordless graphic novel that has a lot of cool art. That the art tells all the story, and a lot of kids actually like it because they can write their own dialogue. So it's super cute. Check it out. But this is one of the books that the publishers specifically mentioned when they wanted me to work on this project. So as you can see, just by looking at the cover, there's a lot of black lines, commonly attributed to comic books. Usually picture books look more painterly. This one is a little bit different. So it has a flavor of a picture book hybrid with kind of a comic book, kind of like Edward Gorey-ish because of all the cross-hatching. When we talk about children's picture book, oftentimes the characters are either an animal or a little kid, a little boy or a little girl. With Ghastly Ghost, it's an old man. So that's another thing that's a little bit different. So we had to create a character who kids can relate to, even though it's an old person. So character has to be a little bit cute. And I think we've accomplished that with old Dave here. He does look kind of cute, has like that vulnerable look to him. And because of his character design, he doesn't really move his mouth a lot. And a lot of his reactions are shown through his eyes. So let's go and look at the first batch of character designs that I've done. All right, so old Dave number 1, we've got here. He's probably the one that matches the closest to the final character. As you can see here, I've tried to do some expressions of him, kind of has that worried look in his face, and here holding his lamp. And since he's going to be traversing through a snowy field, he's going to need to wear a heavy coat and probably a scarf. So I've added that in here and kind of did two versions with old Dave with the coat and old Dave without the coat. Here's another version, kind of a rounder face and a more expressive face because of the big eyes that he has. You can see here, when you've got big round eyes like that, you can obviously do a lot more emotions versus the dotted look in his eyes right there. So here he doesn't have the full beard, so he has kind of a mustache, a white mustache and a black beard, and his mouth is visible, so he can actually smile, have more emotions coming through his mouth and his eyes. And I've also changed his outfit. He has more of a jacket here. He's got kind of gloves where you can see his fingers going through it. His legs are a little bit skinnier. And again, I made two versions of him, one with his winter outfit on and another one more of a casual outfit. Maybe he's going to work or he just got off the plane. Sent another batch of illustration. And by the way, when I mean batch, I actually sent all of these all at once. I kind of just did a bunch all at the same time, and I sent them to the art director for the publishers to review. And that's usually how it works, is when you're creating a picture book, at least in my experience, I have to start with the look of the main character, because that kind of dictates the rest of the book, how the environment will look, the style that I need to use throughout the book. So getting a firm grasp on what your main character is going to look like is, to me, a good start. Another number 3 here for old Dave. So he looks like he's kind of has a balding hair, a little bit more joyous, and a little bit kind of like a Charlie Brown look here. He's got the striped sweater. He has a different hat here and a different kind of scarf, bigger hands. He looks kind of shorter here, just because everything is so compact. Again, I went back to the round dotted eyes, and I think trying to go this direction with the dotted eyes gave it to me a little bit more of a children's picture book look versus the rounded eyes. The rounded eyes almost looks more comical. So we have number 4 here, and see, I went back to this version with actually a little bit more oval eyes, and I'm playing with the eyes here a little bit. I think similar to what anime or manga usually does with the eyes. They kind of bend it and do different reactions. So here, actually, his mouth is kind of covered up by the scarf. Also a different style of boots, and here on the other side, I gave him more of a vest outfit. Has more of like that Steve Jobs turtleneck. And he's got kind of like casual sneakers right there. And again, here, he doesn't have the full beard, so maybe he's not as old in this version. He's just got kind of like a mustache and little kind of whisker hair floating around. Here's another version where Dave is of a different ethnicity. So he's got the curly hair, and he's got like a cool stylish beard right here. And I actually like this Dave as well. And here he's got kind of a jacket vest hybrid. And he also has kind of the thicker fur coat. And again, you can see the different style of boots that he's wearing. It's a little bit more pointed versus the other ones. Kind of rounded and squared right there. And again, with the big rounded eyes. And actually, if you can see here, the pupil of the eyes are a little bit bigger. And I was able to add some kind of reflection to the eyes. Dave number 6, he kind of looks like a kid who's got like a little goatee attached to his chin. So again, I'm trying to stick to a character that kids can relate to, right? So here he looks like a little kid playing an adult character. Again, trying a different hat here. I think this is kind of has that, the ear covers on the side, and also a different jacket he's wearing. But then I went back to the jumper outfit as well on this one. And here we have old Dave number 7, and he's a little bit more buff. I think when I was illustrating this one, I was visualizing him more of like a woodsman, where he's out going into the middle of the forest chopping trees, So he kind of has that look, but a woodsman who is fearful of ghosts, apparently. So he's kind of scared here, and then here he's happy. But yeah, he's pretty buff looking here. So big upper body and skinny lower body. He skipped leg day, obviously. These two characters, even though it's the same character, it kind of looks a little bit different. Right here, he almost looks like has a pilot hat right there. And maybe, yeah, he could kind of look like more of a Middle Eastern, Europeanish character, especially with his mustache sticking out like that. So he looks kind of funny here. And I think here we go, the final batch that I sent, final pair. This one, he looks a little bit older, but to me here, he looks more like a fisherman here. He's got that fisherman's sweater. It's just striped. But this hat is a little bit different. And he's actually wearing glasses in this version too. So he still has the thick coat that he wears here. It looks like a fur coat. This is kind of cute too. I like this one. And number 10 and 11, this is me trying to stretch the idea. Here he definitely looks like, kind of has like that Russian type hat. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. And especially with the really thick coat and the big mustache, it kind of reminds me like he's definitely from Russia. And here we've got the I think Edgar Allan Poe old Dave look here. He's got that big sideburns and a little bit wavy hair, and here he's got his big eyebrows, and definitely with his eyes he looks like he's freaked out about something. Obviously with a cane too. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to walk through the snow with a cane. He's going to have a hard time. So I submitted 11 character design ideas to the publisher, and then they reviewed it, picked what they want, and then they got back to me saying, we actually prefer this character, do more versions of this character and try to work on that. So when the art director got back to me, she suggested that I work on revisions for a couple of the designs that they liked. So Old Dave number 3 is the first one. And as you can see here, let's zoom in a little bit. I did a couple of, this is the original version right here on the top, and I did a few more expressive poses for this character. A different angle here, looking down. Here he's like trying to listen to what the moaning sound could be, and here is when he's freaked out. And as you can see here, he does have that rounded face and he's balding. So he has that rounded face and he's bald, so the beard itself kind of blends in with the roundness of his face. So that's the first alternate version that I did, and the next one is the one that ultimately became the main character for the book. So it's Dave number 1, and I kind of worked on some poses for Dave number 1, and looks like I did a little bit of a outfit change. And like right here, it looks like he kind of has a Chinese type of outfit here, and here he's wearing a sweater. And again, sticking to the dotted eyes, this one kind of almost looks like a hybrid of this character and this character with a rounded face. And as you can see, the beard kind of just hangs there and it doesn't really fill his entire face. So this almost looks like a separate character in a way. Ultimately, they picked Dave number 1 as the main character for the book. And as you can see, he's made it to the book. So congratulations, Dave number 1. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, more specific questions about the development of the book, sometimes you're deep in the forest that it's kind of difficult to see what might be useful to others. So if there's any questions that you have, feel free to contact me. Just post in this video. Please share this video. I'm thinking of doing 2 or 3 more videos in relation to this book. Most likely the actual inside pages we're going to talk about, as well as the design of the book cover. So I think it'll be cool and it'll be useful. Grab the book, share this video, like it, subscribe. You know what to do. All right. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon.